Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me right now? Good afternoon. I need a reaction. Can someone please let me know if I'm audible? Can someone hear me? You can unmute to talk. Okay, you can hear me. Great. How are we doing today? I think maybe you could just type in the chat room. How are you today? You could type or you could unmute yourself. How are we doing today? Fine. Okay. I'm happy to hear that you're fine. Healthy and excited. I'm doing good. And you, madam? I'm very well, thank you. We'll be starting shortly. I'm just trying to wait a bit to see if more people will join in because we have a lot to discuss today. And I'm really happy I'm going to be the one facilitating today's session. Even next week is quite exciting. That's going to be on leadership, and our speaker lives in Rwanda, so that's going to be exciting. I think maybe we could start before we begin. I think you could start. Okay, splendid and excited. Great. Let's start by writing in the chat room. Where are you joining this course from today? Where are you joining from today? You can just type in the chat room. What country are you joining us from today? That could be our short starter. What country are you joining us from today? So I'm joining from Nigeria. Okay, Uganda also. What country are you joining? Uganda, Kenya also. Kenya, great. Let's wait for more people. Where are you joining us from? Kenya, okay. Kenya. We have a lot of Ugandans and Kenyans here today. Let me see if more people are going to respond. Kenya, okay, that's the previous one. Also, I wanted to confirm, can you see my camera? I cannot see myself, so I'm not too sure. Can you see my camera? Yes, okay. I don't know why it has refused to show me myself, but that's fine. Hey, we'll be starting now. Before I start, let me know who's been following. What did we learn last week? What was the topic for last week? Let me see who is actually following these sessions. What was the topic for last week? You can just type in the chat room. What was last week's topic? So if you were here last week, even if you were not here last week, you should know what last week's topic was about. The topic that was led by Ms. Temi Tayo. What was last week's topic about? Let's see who's been following. I'll just wait for 1 minute. See. I'll be very disappointed if no one can answer, but I just want to know who's actually following what we're learning. What was last week's topic about? Just one. I just need one person to answer. I mean, many of you did the assignment, so you should be able to know what we learned last week. Even if you didn't do the assignment, the recording has been sent to everyone, as well as the slides. So I just want to know who's following. What was last week's topic about? What did we learn last week? Just one person to respond. Does no one know the answer? I see the chat room is still okay. Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Well, I think it was about readiness and something related to the job market.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Last week's topic was about career readiness. I'm happy that one person was able to respond to that. So it was career readiness, practical skills for navigating the job market. Okay, who knows what today's topic is about before I share my slides? It was sent via email. Let me know who does. Does anyone know what today's topic is about? Okay, I see career readiness, practical skills. Yes, thank you very much, Ali. Who knows what today's topic is about? Anyone? It was posted on the group chat also. I want to see, this is meant to be an interactive course. So being able to answer questions efficiently is important. Let me see who knows what today's topic is about before I share my slides. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
I guess it's internship readiness.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. You see, I like people like you who answer questions diligently, and you know soon enough when we're done with this program why. Okay. Thank you very much, Todd, also. Internship how to stand out. Excellent. So for people who are interactive, that's going to pay off towards the end of this program because we have a lot of exciting opportunities for those that are going to be active throughout the program who join in. So for example, at the end of today, one of the assignments that's going to happen is that everyone is going to be put into groups that basically it's an accountability group, and that's going to be your group until the program has concluded. So people that interacted, that take paying attention, that's going to help you a lot. So thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you, Todd. Also, I've seen your message. I've seen your comments in the chat room. Yes, so as you mentioned, today we're going to be talking about internship readiness. I'm going to share my screen now. I just need a confirmation that you can see my screen. I haven't shared yet. Just give me a second. Can everyone see my screen? Can anyone see my screen? I'm in the private chat.
Well, see.
Yes, awesome. Okay, great, beautiful. All right, so good afternoon. I don't think it's morning for anyone right now, but if it is, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're off to a great weekend. My name is Sholami Awa Joseph, and I am going to be talking about internship readiness, how to stand out and secure valuable internship opportunity. So to kick us off, if you could intern anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I'd like to see your comments in the chat room. If you had the opportunity to intern anywhere you wanted to in the world, where would you want to intern in and why would you want to intern there? I'll just give us about 60 to 120 seconds to answer this question. If you could intern anywhere in the world, what company would you like to intern in and why? Or if you would like a dream job, where would you like to work and why would you like to work there? Let's start off with that. So for example, if you say, I would like to intern at Mercedes-Benz because I love luxury vehicles, that's an example. Or I'd like to intern at Emirates because I love planes and I love flying, that's another example. So if you could intern anywhere in the world, where would you want to intern in and why? Okay, not the country, the company. So that's the difference. So America, okay, BBC UK, it's a lofty atmosphere, and I'm so passionate about storytelling. So I want the company name, not a country, the company name. You could put the location of the company. So not the country, the company, not Asia, not China. You should give me a company name. For Asia, because of technology. So where would you want to intern in Asia or China? What company would you like to intern in? I need a specific company name, not just a country or a region or a continent. What company would you like to intern in? Or what organization would you like to intern in? BBC UK, it's a lofty atmosphere, and I am passionate about storytelling. Beautiful. Anyone else? We're about 10 people in this room right now. Let me see if there are any more. No one has their dream place. Okay, Tesla, great, because of technology access. Interesting. Public Health Nutrition Department with Africa CDC. Location, Africa CDC head office is in Kenya. Beautiful. AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals because of their global excellence. Awesome. Okay, I'll just wait for maybe one or two more people to answer before I kick off. We have 2 hours here today, and I don't want to take too much of your time. Okay, I'll come back to check the chat room. But as we move on, I have another breakout question for you. So what would you do? You're in your final year of university. You need internship experience to graduate, but you have not secured an internship yet. What would you do if you were in this situation? So I just need one or two people to answer this. So imagine you're in your final year of university. You need to get internship experience in order to be able to graduate, but you haven't been able to secure an internship yet. What would your next steps be? I will get a loan. Hmm. Okay. Let me wait for more responses. So if you'd like to unmute, you could just raise up your hand and then I could call on you. So imagine you're in your final year of university, but you need an internship experience to be able to graduate, but you have not been able to secure one yet. What would you do if you were in this scenario? Hmm? Okay, if you don't know, that's fine. That's why we're here today. So, okay, great. I would go for volunteering. Like you've seen my slides for today. I would go for volunteering, which would also give me a lot of experience in my field of study. That's a beautiful response. I don't know if anyone else has anything else you'd like to say. I'll come back to look at the chats. But thank you very much. What's your name? I see your name as iPhone. I would like to see a name beyond just the device you're using. If you could rename yourself or just type your name in the chat, just so that I know who I'm speaking with, because it shows iPhone. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. All right, so we're moving on. Okay, let me see the chat. Start by checking with my university career center or internship office for available opportunities. Many universities have partnerships with companies and organizations that offer internships. Excellent response, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. All right, so hopefully more people will respond, but as we're waiting, I will just move on. So what is an internship? So in simple terms, an internship is a form of work experience, and it's a structured work experience which provides hands-on training and exposure to a specific industry. So there are different types of internships available. There are paid internships and there are unpaid internships. So paid internships offer stipends or salaries or just allowances. Unpaid internships don't offer any stipend, salaries, or allowances, but there may be other benefits of being part of this internship. There's academic credits and non-credit internships. So sometimes these are internships that are required for graduation. So for example, I live in Nigeria and there's something called SIWES, which is the Students Industrial Work Experience Program, if I'm not mistaken. And basically for students who have to do SIWES, it's basically a requirement they must have before they're able to graduate. So you must get work experience in a company for maybe about 3 to 6 months, sometimes longer, sometimes repetitive, depending on whatever you're studying. So academic credits, and then some are not required, but then it's important that you just still do an internship. Then there are virtual internships and in-person internships. So my organization called Guide Africa, we have virtual internships, not in person. So some roles can be done online while others require that you're in the company physically. Then there are also summer internships, fellowships, and co-op programs. So these are valuable experiences that allow you to gain transferable skills. So before I move on, has anyone ever done an internship? You could just write yes or no, or before now, do you know what an internship was? Let me just get your feedback. You could type yes or no in the chat room. Have you ever done an internship before, or is this your first time hearing of an internship? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to start calling on people that I haven't heard anything from because I want people to participate. I haven't heard anything from Sharif. I haven't heard anything from Farah. I haven't heard anything from Kaltuma, Joseph, George, Faisal, Astin, Ochieng. Let me hear from you. Not just the same 2, 3 people. I want people to be interactive today. So have you ever heard of an internship before, or is this your first, or have you ever done an internship before? Or is this your first time? Just send a message in the chat. Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Todd. Yes, thank you, Joseph. I haven't done any internship yet since I'm in the middle of my university studies. I have done it before. No, madam. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing. Yes, but I haven't done it. Okay, so you've heard of an internship, but you haven't done an internship before. All right, that's fine. That's fine. So one thing that we wanted to do through this particular session is to basically change people's narrative. And I'm going to go into Emmanuel's comments that I haven't done an internship yet since I'm in the middle of my university studies. So a problem a lot of students actually have, or a mistake a lot of students do, is that they wait until they are done with school to start pursuing internships. However, being in school is actually one of the best times to start looking for internships, not when you graduated, because a lot of organizations actually want students that have experience, even for internships, as they're saying as it may sound. A lot of organizations want students with experience or actually have skills that they've been able to use, transferable skills. So if usually you have to end up waiting until you are done with school, it may sometimes be a bit too late, but we're going to be talking about that today, so no problem. Okay, so why do employers offer internships? So one reason why employers offer internships is it helps make up the future hiring talent pool. So internships allow companies to assess potential employees before offering full-time positions. So imagine you were doing an internship for like 6 months and you're in your final year of university. Let's say it's even virtual. By the time you're done after 6 months, if the organization realizes they have the budget to retain you, or let's say you've been exceptional and they're like, okay, we don't want to lose you as a part of our team, that can actually help them to give you an offer for a full-time job so that you become a full-time employee at the organization. Also, many organizations prefer hiring from their intern pool because these candidates have already been in the system for maybe 3 or 6 months, sometimes even 1 year, 2 years, depending on how long the internship is. And then this helps them because they already understand the company culture and how things operate. It's easier to make them immersed into the team. Another reason why employers offer internships is because students are meant to have fresh perspectives. Being that you're young, you should be able to have different perspectives, creativity, ideas to be able to bring it to an organization or a team. So being an intern and being a young person, you can challenge the traditional ways of thinking and contribute innovative solutions to projects. Imagine a team of maybe 40-year-olds and you're in your 20s, or you're 19, you're 18, or you're your mid-20s, your late 20s. Your perspective is going to be different from older people, and that can be an advantage for you, which is why some organizations like hiring young people to do internships, because you can challenge traditional way of thinking and bring creative ideas to things. Another reason why employers offer internships is because it's a form of additional support for teams. So interns assist with workload, they free up time for full-time employees to focus on strategic tasks. So through internships, so employees may delegate tasks to other people. So let's say they had maybe 10 things to do. They can maybe delegate 2 or 3 tasks to you as an intern to do. And they are using that to develop your skills and also learn. And they're also freeing up their workload and helping to focus on other strategic tasks they may have to do. They also take on smaller but essential tasks which ensure efficiency and productivity in daily operation. Okay, so now why are internships important? As I mentioned, the mistake a lot of students do is that they wait until they're done with university to start looking for internships, which is a big no-no. You should start looking for internships even while you're in university. As a student, you're young, you should take the time to multitask actually. Multitasking is something important for school. A lot of students have the mistake or have the perception that they just need to get focus on only having good grades and they just focus on getting a first class and then graduating from school. However, if you are a student, you should actually take the time out to look for internships. Not only are you developing your skills, but by the time that you're graduated from school, imagine, let's say you're in your second year of university, or even your first year of university, and you decide to do an internship from first year to final year. Imagine your university is 4 years. By the time you're in your fourth year of university, you already have 4 years of experience. Imagine that in comparison with someone who just finished from university. They have no work experience, they have no skills, and it's difficult for them to find jobs because honestly, no employer wants to hire anyone that doesn't have anything to offer or bring to the table, which is why it's advisable for people to start looking for internships when they are younger. So don't wait until you're done with university to start looking for internships. Actually, you should use university as a time to look for internships. And when you're done with university, when you're going to start looking for full-time jobs. But sometimes that doesn't follow. But if you've already had internship experience, then when you've been finished from university, you can get graduate internships that will retain you and hire you. But no one is going to hire you if you don't have experience and skills that are needed in the workplace. So why are internships important? They help you to gain hands-on experience. You can apply the academic knowledge that you have learned in real-world settings. So a lot of people don't realize that the things you learn in school can actually help you. If you do research, if you do presentations, these are things that would help you when you transition from school to the workplace. They help expand your professional network. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Let me just see a yes or no in the comments. How many of you are on LinkedIn or have a LinkedIn account? Let me just see yes or no in the comments. So anyone on LinkedIn here? I'm on LinkedIn. Okay, let me see the comments here. Yes, yes. Okay. Who else is on LinkedIn? Yes, awesome, awesome. Yes, yes. Okay, great. It seems a lot of us here are on LinkedIn, which is
كبح كبح
beautiful. Yes, okay. Yes, so
كبح.
please mute yourself if you are not asked to talk so that you don't disrupt the flow of the course. All right, thank you. Yes, so when you have LinkedIn, for example, and an internship, you can expand your professional network because you can meet industry leaders. So for example, let's say you get to work with someone that has 10 to 12 years of experience. Those people can be your mentors or even your future colleagues because you can get to network with them, you can get to connect with them. They can give you advice, being that they've been in the industry for a longer period of time. And you can also have the way to share your own opinions because you're young, so your perspective of things may be different. So internships can help you to expand your professional network. So something I'll always advise people to do, if you're interning anywhere, connect with everyone that you can see at your internship. So for example, once you make the typical LinkedIn post, I'm happy to announce that I'm going to be interning at XYZ organization. I'm happy to be applying my skills in XYZ, XYZ, the way people type on LinkedIn. So once you've added the company to your LinkedIn profile, the next thing is start connecting with everyone that you can see. If you can, in fact, connect with the CEO of that company. If the CEO sees that you're a part of the company, sometimes they will connect back. So don't limit yourself. Connect with people to expand your network. LinkedIn is the best place to be with as a student. So it will help you to expand, meet potential mentors, future colleagues. Also, another reason why internships are important, as I mentioned before, people wait until they are done with school to apply for internships, which is wrong. Internships can help you to improve your resume and LinkedIn profile. Let me also ask, how many of you have resumes, or as they're commonly called, CVs? Do any of you have resumes here? Just yes or no in the comments. I think I saw someone last week that said they didn't have a CV. But how many of you have CVs or resumes? Let's see the comments. Yes, yes. Okay. All right, I'm sure more people will respond. Yes, so through internships, you can properly optimize your resume and LinkedIn profile. Let's say, for example, you are a content writer as an organization, right? And you're an intern who is content writing. Do the things that you do every day. The tasks that you do is what's going to form your LinkedIn profile or your resume. So, for example, let's say you're a content writer at my organization, as an example. You could say, I drafted 50 posts as an example in the span of XYZ months. These are things to put in your LinkedIn profile. I drafted a concept note which was able to impact XYZ. So when you do internships over and over again, even if it's a 3-month internship, a 6-month internship, a 1-year internship, it makes you look more attractive to employers because you are able to show the skills and the experiences you were able to have during the internship. Another reason why internships are really important is because they help you to enhance your soft and hard skills. So you can develop communication, you can develop teamwork, working with other people, you can develop problem solving. If a problem arises, you can think, okay, how can I solve this problem? Or how can I be a part of solving this problem? And also to enhance industry specific skills. There are certain skills you can only learn when you've done them with a team or with a group of people or in a real life scenario. It's one thing to have textbook knowledge, it's another thing to actually apply yourself, which is why internships are important. And then internships increase your chances of having full-time employment. Many interns receive job offers after their internship. Sometimes, even while they're in their internship, they've already been offered a job. So internships can help you to increase your chances of full-time employment or even leadership opportunities, depending on how large or small the organization is. All right, so we're moving on very quickly. Why start early? This is what I've been talking about since we began. So the reason why it's important to start early for internships, the first reason is to avoid high competition. Many students end up waiting until graduation, which makes the job market tougher. As I mentioned before, imagine if you're in your first year and you've done an internship, you've done various internships. Let's say you've done 5 internships within the span of 4 years. By the end of it, you've gotten about 2 or 3 years of work experience. If you're applying for an entry-level job, the entry-level job is more likely to accept you who's gotten a wide range of experience than someone who just graduated, even if they graduated in the first class. The you who has experience are more valuable than the person who graduated in first class. And as unfair, quote unquote, as you may seem, you actually have what to show that you've been able to build yourself and develop your skills. So it's important to start early and not wait until you're done with graduation to look for internships to make the job market easier for yourself. Another reason is to gain more experience over time. Starting early with internships allows you to do multiple internships, which increases your skill set. So I always tell people not to limit themselves into a box. Imagine you are reading computer science in university, an example. So you could decide to do internship related to computer science. Let's say you decide to do UX UI design, but you could also decide to do project management. You could also decide to do content writing. You could also decide to do marketing. And the reason why it's important to spread your wings when you are younger is because the job market is difficult. And when you are able to explore different fields and different areas, or sometimes you could explore different areas around the same field, it basically gives you the opportunity to increase your skills because you have experience in different areas. You're able to learn from different places. Okay, if I wasn't able to get this experience, I can get from here, or I can apply to this job, and I'm not limited just because of what I studied in school. So internships help you to explore and to expand your skill sets. And moving on to the next point, it helps you to set different career paths. So if you start internships early, you can decide if a particular field is right for you. Imagine waiting 4 years and let's say you finish your engineering degree in 5 years, as is commonly done. After 5 years, you realize, I don't want to do engineering anymore. Where am I going to start from? Or you realize, oh, I don't like this course I did. Maybe it was because my parents forced me. That's why I did engineering. And now I'm done. I don't know where to begin. If you have started internships early, what could have happened is that even though you are studying to become an engineer, but in your heart of hearts, you know that you're not really interested in the course anymore. Through internships, you've been able to develop skills and work experience. And that can also help you to know, okay, instead of doing this engineering, I think I would fit better in this role or in this position or in this industry. So those are things that internships help you to do. Then they also help you to develop a competitive edge. The more experience you gain, the stronger your application, your CV, your LinkedIn, your resume is. So it also helps you to be more competitive and a more suitable candidate for certain jobs and applications. Okay, we're moving on. Where to find internships? Internships can be found in various places. So you can find internships at online job boards. So LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Internshala, My Job Man. You can also find internships, as Emmanuel had mentioned earlier, university career centers and professors. Many schools have internship placement programs, and even professors also can help you to find internships. If you're close to your lecturers or your professors, you can ask them, do you know anyone who has any internship availability in XYZ company? They could help you. So having a good cordial relationship with your lecturers and your professors is also important. If your school has a career center, more likely there's going to be career fairs whereby you can go and look for internships and they'll be able to assist you with them. Company websites, sometimes just scrolling through, instead of scrolling through social media, you can scroll through company websites. On company websites, you can sometimes go to careers. When you go to careers on the company website, you are then able to see any internship openings they may have. So for example, if you want to work at the United Nations, if you go to careers, you're going to be able to see the different openings they have or different jobs they have at that point in time. Networking and professional events. If you go for events professional events. You can connect with industry professionals who could connect you with people who have openings available, or they may have openings available themselves. So don't take networking and going for professional events lightly. This can help you to find internships. Another thing is social media and LinkedIn posts. Sometimes things are not posted directly on LinkedIn or Indeed. Sometimes it can be on Instagram. Sometimes it can be on TikTok. So use social media wisely to help you. Don't just use it to aimlessly scroll. Be strategic when you're using social media. So through posts, sometimes they don't post it as a job, they may post it directly on the LinkedIn page. I know some people that all they do on LinkedIn is just post opportunities that are available in a week. And if you follow or you connect people like this, you can find internships that will help you to succeed. Another thing is non-profit organizations and volunteering platforms. So there are a lot of non-profit organizations that are always looking for internships or volunteers. Even my organization, we constantly look for people to join us to intern, volunteer, or even take up leadership position. So this is, in a nutshell, is just a place to find internships and where you can find internships. Before I move on, if anyone has any questions, just leave them in the chat room and then I will respond to them. Because I'll just wait for 60 seconds. If anyone has any questions, just leave them in the chat room so that you don't forget your questions. Or if you don't have any questions, you can put no questions for now. Let me just see who is following, who is listening. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the chat room. I'll wait for 60 seconds for us to complete this task. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat room. If you don't have any questions, just put no questions for now. Okay, there are no responses, so I would like to believe that everyone, no questions for now. Thank you, Joseph. All right, so I want to believe that everyone is following. No questions yet. We can go on. Okay, awesome. All right, let's move on. Internships at non-profit and volunteering opportunity. I want to go back to something I had seen someone say before. when we had the starter, when I asked that if you were a final year student and it was important for you to do an internship and it was part of your grade, what are you going to do? Someone said that they would go for iPhone. I don't know his or her name because it's not showing, but they mentioned that I will go for volunteering, which also gives me a lot of experience in my field of studies. And now I'd like to talk about that more. So internships at nonprofit and volunteering opportunities. So internships and nonprofits are like other opportunities, other internships, but most of the time, actually, they're usually remote. Sometimes they may be physical, but it's always specifically stated if it's going to be remote or physical. So why should you consider nonprofit internships? They help you to provide hands-on experience, even when corporate internships are hard to find. So I will call it an underrated gem because most people sometimes focus on. So for example, to catch the bigger fish, you need to get to the smaller fish first. So nonprofits are usually small, depending on the scale they are on. So there are larger nonprofits, there are smaller nonprofits. The smaller nonprofits are always usually looking for people to join their team. And if you're a young person who is trying to develop yourself and get skills, the first thing you could start looking for, if you've tried all things to try to get a large scale corporate job internship, you can start looking at nonprofits to intern at. So they provide hands-on experience when corporate internships are hard to find. They help develop your leadership, problem solving, and teamwork skills. Because most of the time, you may end up being the one who has to call the shots, or you're working with a team, but you're also given the opportunity to make certain decisions or things that are just left to you to run. So that actually helps you develop your skills more, which is why internships and non-profit or volunteering can be a great way. Because volunteering, even if it's not a long-term position, you're still developing yourself and getting skills. And who cares? You can put it on your resume or your CV. You can say that you worked here from XYZ month to XYZ month. You're able to develop this, you're able to develop that. This also helps you if you're unable to get full-time job internships at corporate organizations. So examples of nonprofit internships, you can work on at environmental projects, you can assist in marketing or fundraising campaigns, you can teach or mentor in certain communities, you can create content, you can write content. These are just examples of nonprofit internships. You could do research. So depending on the positions available, nonprofit internships can help you to develop your skills, which you can also put in your resume, if you're unable to find corporate internships. All right, we're moving on very quickly. What if you can't find an internship? What am I going to do? So I tried everything. I've looked at non-profits, I've looked at corporates, I've done everything I thought I need to do, but I still can't find an internship. Here's what you're going to do. So I don't know if anyone has heard of freelancing before. Has anyone heard of freelancing? You could just write yes or no in the comment section. Who's heard of freelance before or freelance business? I know a couple of people mentioned it during Timmy Tyre's session last week. Yes, no. Okay. Yes, I have. Okay. Any more? Yes, no, yes, no. I think I've seen one no. Who's heard of freelancing? Yeah, I'm one of those who can't find an internship. Thank you, Amin. So this session is specifically for you. Let me just wait. Who's heard of freelancing? Yes, not verified. Could you explain further? I'm not too sure of what that means. Okay. So I think I saw one no, which was from Todd. So what is freelancing in a nutshell? So basically, freelancing is when a person works for themselves or rather than working for a company. So there are popular freelancing. Okay, I see another comment. No, okay, awesome. So customer thoughts and anyone who maybe hasn't answered. So freelancing is when someone works for themselves. So they have a service to offer. So instead of working in traditional 9 to 5 job, they basically just work for themselves to show off their skills and get paid for them. So you can use platforms like Fiverr, you can use platforms like Upwork or Freelancer to gain experience. So for example, if you wanted to do content writing, as an example, you through freelancing, you could go on Fiverr and say, okay, I am charging, let's say $10 per work done or per article done, and then you get paid for that. Or Upwork. Upwork is more of someone has a need, and then you are just going to come and talk about the need, or you're going to help them. So basically, you bid for it. So for example, if someone is saying they are charging $30 for someone to do XYZ or to help them edit something, instead of you, so based on your portfolio, you're not going to bid for it, and then the highest bidder is what is going to end up going for that. And then freelancer is another freelancing organization where you can showcase your skills and apply, and then you get to work for yourself instead of working a standard 9 to 5 job, and then you get paid for it. Another way to get internship experience, if you can't find an internship, is to do personal projects. So if you build a website that showcases your skills, start a blog, conduct research, or launch a small business. So the point of doing these things is because it's still a form of skill development. So if you are not able to get skills from a certain organization or a certain company, being able to still showcase that you have skills that can help you in the workforce are still important as you constantly keep on applying for jobs. So something people do sometimes that if they've gotten rejected once or twice from a job, they just stop applying. Or maybe they haven't heard back at all, they just stop applying. But it's important that as an intern or as a student who is trying to look for internships, they're constantly looking for a job. Okay, if I didn't get accepted now, here's what I can do instead. I'll keep on applying until I get a yes. So you need to make sure that you're dedicated. You need to make sure that you're disciplined in order to be able to do that. So through building a website, starting a blog, or launching a small business. So you could launch a small business. Let's say you want to tutor people English as an example. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you a job in that. You can use social media to promote yourself, talk about what you have to offer. So I think last week in the assignment, I saw a lot of people had mentioned about wanting to tutor people from Somalia, if I wasn't mistaken, or being a translator. So instead of waiting for people to offer you that job, create opportunities for yourself if maybe you cannot find opportunities by yourself. So be the creator instead of being the one to look or the seeker. So you could use social media to promote yourself, talk about what you have to offer. You could do trending videos and things so that people have more awareness about who you are and what you do. And all these things help you to build and develop your skill set. As I mentioned before, volunteering. So joining NGOs, students organizations can help you to develop your skills. Also through online courses and certifications, You can upskill your platforms like Coursera, Udemy, Google certifications. There are so many, even edX, there are so many online courses and certifications that would help you to develop your skills. Even programs like this, join more programs that would help you to build your skills and to develop yourself. And then also cold pitching to employers. We're going to go into that. Sharif, if you have a question, please just leave it in the chat room so that we don't disrupt the flow. So if you type a question in the chat and then I would answer it. Yeah? All right. So cold pitching to employers. Reach out directly to companies with a proposal. LinkedIn is a great tool for this, and that's what we're going to be moving on now to in the next slide. So cold pitching. What exactly is cold pitching? It's basically reaching out to employers without a posted job opening. So, for example, let's say you want to work at Tesla, someone had mentioned, right? I'm just using someone's example in the chat. Someone said they want to work at Tesla. And you've noticed that Tesla doesn't have any internship opportunities. Last week, the assignment that was given to people to do was to basically reach out to employers, find the employers' names, and then just introduce yourself and ask about any openings they may have. That was cold pitching. So reaching out to employers without posted job openings to find out what may be available is cold pitching. And honestly, the best platform to do this on is on LinkedIn. Instead of sometimes just sending an email, directly reaching out to an employer on LinkedIn may be easier. So I'm just going to share my screen again to give a better example. Just give me a second. I think we can still see the slide, but I want to share LinkedIn just so I can explain further what I'm trying to do. So I don't know if anyone has ever heard of human resources before. If you have, you can type yes or no. Okay. Some online companies that offer internships and short courses can be trusted because at the end of the day, they need the students to do some payment. In such scenario, it's advisable to go and do the payment, if there are recommendation letters or certificates, or we just leave them away. All right, so let me answer this question before I move on. You should never be paying for any sort of experience because you're the one that has something to offer. If a company is asking you to do an internship and you have to pay for it, that's a fraudulent company. You should never have to pay to offer your services because at the end of the day, you're still going to have to show your skills or showcase your skills. So any organization that's telling you that, oh, you need to, so for example, if an organization is telling you that you need to pay, let's say $5 or $1, sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be less, to be able to work with them, the organization is likely a scam. If an organization is telling you that you need to refer 3 to 5 other people to join the program to be able to pass of the program, that organization is a scam. So organizations like that, you should automatically blacklist them and know that they are not going to help you out at all. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. I'll go into that more in depth during the Q&A session. So yes, okay, Todd said he's head of human resources. So in simple terms, human resources, and this is going to take us to our next point, is basically a department or business that helps to manage your employees, right? So human resources can help you to manage your employees. So now, using the person's example that said Tesla. So I'm sharing my screen now. Um, so this is the, okay, no. This is someone at Tesla. That's not what I was looking for. This is the Tesla website, 12 million followers. So Tesla Motor Vehicle Manufacturing. If you were going to cold pitch to someone at Tesla, which is what I was trying to explain, you're going to now go to Tesla. So you could go on LinkedIn, you could set Tesla Human Resources, right? I want to believe everyone can see my screen. So as you can see here, this person is a senior human resources business partner at Tesla. Sometimes you may be able to see more people, sometimes it's just show LinkedIn member, senior human resources at Tesla, associate HR partner at Tesla. I'm going to use another company as an example. Let's see, someone give me a company name very quickly. Just give me a company name in the chat room. This is going to tie into the importance of cold pitching and how to cold pitch. Someone give me a company name in the chat room. Just give me any company. Jumia. Okay, great. Let's look at Jumia now. Let's look at Jumia HR. So this is Jumia Nigeria, HR Director, Jumia Nigeria. If you're going to code pitch to this person, what you're going to do is connect. Once you connect and they connect back, sometimes you could connect and then you could add a note. However, when you're adding a note on LinkedIn, if you don't have the premium account, there's a limitation to how many times you can do that. So you need to be strategic. So you could connect and add a note, and then you could give the code pitching template, which we're going to go into in a bit. So this is one of the fastest ways to sometimes just directly find certain people or reach out to them. So someone said, is there any other company? I don't know what LWF stands for, but let me see if that's on LinkedIn. I don't know if this is the company. I guess this should be the company. Is this the company thoughts? There are many LWS, so I don't know. Okay, let's use Disney as an example.
Yeah, it is. It
That's
is
the
an
company?
international organization, yes.
Okay, so this one here. Okay, let's do LWF Human Resources. So this is one of the fastest ways to code pitch. Sometimes you can even be more audacious and bold and code pitch to the managing director yourself. So one thing I always want people to have in mind is that the worst thing anyone can tell you is no. So that should be your mindset at each point in time. The worst thing anyone can tell you is no. Okay, Lutheran World Federation. You should never be afraid of hearing no. If someone tells you no, you should even be like, okay, this person even had the chance to respond to me. So I'm just going to, okay, I found the organization. Let's look at human resources. So because the worst thing anyone can tell you is no, that should give you the confidence that this person doesn't know me from anywhere. I'm not going to let that stop me from trying whatever I want to try out. So that should be your mindset at each point in time. Just give me 1 minute. I just need to quickly get something. But I will share my slides again, and then we can talk about it. So I'm going to share my slides where it talks about the code pitching template. So I want us to quickly look at that in the next 1 minute. So this is a template that I'm going to share with everyone in the chat room, but I want us to just quickly read through it. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the chat room. So Sharif, there's going to be a Q&A session. I'm going to answer everyone's question properly during that time. So I saw your question, I just haven't responded yet. Yeah? All right, no problem. All right, so this is a code pitching template. Dear hiring manager's name. So for example, let's say that you have found the hiring manager of an organization. Let's say their name is Dorothy. So dear Miss Dorothy, or you could say dear Madam or dear Sir. Don't always assume it is Sir. I personally think that's very disrespectful. So you could do dear Sir slash Madam, or if you know their name, like for example, if you directly found their name on social media, you can put dear Mr. XYZ or dear Miss. So it's always safer to do MS instead of writing Miss MIS or MRS. So you could do dear Miss. So you could do that instead of just generalizing and writing dear sir. I personally find it very disrespectful because I'm not a sir. If someone was going to tell me dear sir and I'm not a sir, I'm going to find that disrespectful. So when you're writing a code pitching template, you can write either dear sir or madam, or you can write dear Miss XYZ or dear Mr. XYZ if you know their name. So I hope you're doing well. My name is ABC. So in this case, my name is Feolami Joseph. Let's say I'm a final year student pursuing so let's say I'm pursuing computer science. I'm pursuing computer science at, let's say, University of Lagos. I'm highly passionate about engineering, mechanical engineering, and I'm eager to apply my skills in a real world setting through my academic work and personal projects I've developed. So if you mention skills that you've been able to get, You could have specific accomplishments you've been able to do. So, for example, I've analyzed market trends to create a research report that's improved my campaign. I've developed a web-based tool to talk about the experiences you've been able to have and the experiences you've been able to do. So these are things you do when you're code pitching to a hiring manager or an organization. So you could talk, let's say the company that I was pitching myself to was Porsche. So you could say, I admire company XYZ for mentioning so you can mention something about their mission, what they stand for, and why you admire that company. And I would love the opportunity to contribute and learn from your team. I'm particularly excited about the chance to apply my expertise in ABCXYZ. You could talk about that to real projects. So when you're doing this, it's important that you have your resume handy or a portfolio handy so that they can see in detail your experiences and what you've been able to do. Then you will now say, please let me know. Please let me know if there's an opportunity to discuss potential openings or how I can add value to your team. I would be happy to schedule a quick call or discuss further at your conveniences. Looking forward to your response. At the end of that, you're going to put your name, your contact information, and your LinkedIn profile. So these are all things that you need that are important when you're code pitching. Yeah, all right, let's move on. So now, optimizing your LinkedIn for internships. So I'm going to go into this. I know last week I had asked people to volunteer and give us their LinkedIn profiles, and few people got back to me on that. So the first thing that's important when you have your LinkedIn is a professional profile photo. So you should not have a selfie. It should not be a selfie that you're taking a picture of. It should be a professional photo, which is high quality, well lit, and business appropriate. Then you could have your headline. So if you're a student, you could write students at XYZ University, aspiring XYZ person. So afterwards, you're going to have your about section. This is going to summarize your skills, your experiences, and your goals. Then your experience and skills section is going to talk about your coursework, your volunteer work, your projects, your internships. Then you can engage. So, yeah, see a comment or a question? What is the difference between internship and fellowship? I'll go into that, no problem. All right, so from engaging, you could follow companies, connect with recruiters, and share content. So sharing content is one way that people grow on LinkedIn because LinkedIn actually is one of the fastest ways to grow on social media. And as a young person, you can always have something that you have to share about. So this is something that you could do. So you could talk about anything that you have to share, but it should always be corporate related to talk about. So now I'm going to be evaluating the two people's LinkedIn profiles that they volunteered. So I don't know if I think Sharif is here. Sharif had volunteered his LinkedIn profile. So I think let's start with him. And then we're just going to talk about the profile together. So this is going to be quite interactive. Um, let me see. I hope I can still find your profile. Okay, awesome, I found it. Okay, so let me share my screen so everyone can see Sherry's profile. So we can look at the profile together based on what I just mentioned. Okay, so Sharif, this is Sharif's profile. So as you can see, he has a quite professional headshot. However, you can make your headshot a bit closer to the profile so you don't show that you're sitting down. But this is quite professional because you're in a seat and everything. So it shows your name, Sharif Mohammed Abdi. It shows intern, so you're currently an intern at Prodigy Infotech, web development certified, MasterCard Foundation scholar at USIU, Somali interpreter at Resettlement Rescue Center, former interpreter at Refugee Consortium of Kenya, RCK. Then it shows the different places he's open to work at or the different titles he wants to work at and different locations. Employment types, full-time, part-time, contract, internship, temporary. So if I was to rate Shari's profile, I would actually give it a 9 out of 10 because it's quite detailed. So his about section shows what he's been able to do. I'm currently pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Applied Computer Technology at the United States International University, Africa, where I am learning the latest tools and techniques in computer science. Then he goes on to his previous experiences and things he has done. I'm passionate about empowering others through my contributions. You can see Tarif is quite active. He posted 5 days ago. So something I would advise that you do here is you could talk about the experiences that you had here to talk about the skill. So instead of just trying to say intern, so what have you interned in? So you could do bullet points or 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done this, I've done that. What kind of intern are you? What are you interning? Are you a marketing intern? Are you a computer science intern? So be specific. That's something I would write here. Interpreter, talk about your skills, talk about what you've been able to accomplish. So that's something that is important when doing your LinkedIn profile. You can see his education is also explicitly stated here also. So now another person that volunteered was Fatuma. Can we see Fatuma on my screen? Intern at web developer. Okay, so are you a computer science intern? What kind of intern are you exactly? Okay, so yes, all right. Thank you very much, Mohammed. So Fatima is a bit more Bachelor's of Science in Applied Computer Technology. Okay, I don't think you understand my question. So for example, are you a marketing intern or are you a content writer intern? What kind of intern are you? What exactly are you interning? Or is it a general internship? That's what I'm trying to find out. So Fatima is a bit more, what's the word called? Brief. So translating words, connecting cultures. Although this may be nice, it's important that I don't know if she's on this call, but it's going to be recorded because she volunteered her LinkedIn profile also. So it's important that she basically talks about what she does. So for example, she is a student at whatever university, what university are you in? So she's at University of Cambridge. But when I scroll down, shows bachelor language. This is not detailed. So there's a way on LinkedIn that you should be able to add your education properly. Here she was able to put her experiences properly. A translation converts. Okay, so no, this should be in bullet points actually. Let me see the comments. Okay, so Sharif, what I mentioned was that you could have your profile picture more close up, and then you could also put the different skills and accomplishments you've been able to have on your experiences. So if we go back to you here, for example, it says you're an intern at Prodigy Infotech. What have you been able to do as an intern there? What skills have you gotten? For example, if a recruiter was just looking at your LinkedIn you should treat your LinkedIn as a second CV or a second resume. So if you're just looking at your LinkedIn profile, okay, you're an intern, you're an interpreter, what were you able to do? What were you able to accomplish? These things are important. All right, so I hope that answers your question. Moving on to Fatuma. So it's important that Fatuma is able to bullet point her skills and show her experiences properly. So what has she been able to do as a freelancer, translator, subtitler, proofreader? Properly show your skills in bullet points so it's easier for whoever is reviewing your CV or resume to look at it properly. I like your about a lot and I like your profile picture a lot. So I've experienced English Somali translator, proofreader, subtitler, and voice actor. I bring over 2 years of expertise to deliver high quality services. I specialize in providing accurate and culturally relevant translations, ensuring clarity and precision in every project. My skills extend to creating seamless subtitles and professional voiceovers, all while maintaining the integrity of the original content. So your about is perfect. So you just need to work on your experiences as well as your education. So the B should be in capital letters, the language should be in capital letters. There's some things that should automatically just look more structured and organized. So that's what I would advise there. So if more people had volunteered their profiles, I would have evaluated more, but only 2 people got back to me with their LinkedIn profiles, which is why I am using these 2 people today. All right, so now the power of a CV before and after an internship. So you can't apply to any job or any organization without showcasing your CV or your resume, because how are they going to know what you've been able to do if you don't have a CV? So before an internship, if you don't have any experience at all, your CV should be used to. And I'm going to share a CV template for everyone at the end of today's session, before the end of today. So an internship should highlight your academic projects, your volunteer work, as well as your coursework, and also emphasize the transferable skills. And also, after an internship, you should include your concrete achievements. So, for example, I manage social media and increase my engagement by 30%. List technical skills and software you use. So, for example, did you use Microsoft 365 to do something? Did you use Outlook? Did you use, let's say, Odoo as an example? What technical skills are you able to use, or what skills were you able to develop, or what accomplishments were you able to have? Then you can also add references or recommendations from your supervisor. So instead of writing their recommendation in the CV, you could write their contact details. So let's say their contact number or their contact email. And then you can even, so if you already have a document that they've done a reference for, you could do a hyperlink on your CV and attach it so that it's easier for them to be able to reach out to you. Now, essential CV section. So your CV should have your contact information, a professional summary, your education, your work and internship experiences, your skills, so technical skills and soft skills, certifications and awards, but don't rely too much on this. You should just show a few main ones and references. Your CV shouldn't be more than 2 pages long, because it takes about 6 to 10 seconds for an employer to go through your CV. No, because imagine they are reviewing about 500 CVs. Nobody has time to go into nitty-gritty. So it's important that your work experience and your skills are properly stated and shown, so that the recruiter can shortlist you for whatever application or job is available. Now, making the most of your internship. So the first thing to do is to be proactive. So this can, by asking for extra tasks and offering solutions. So for example, let's say you have very little work to do, or very little work at your internship. You can be proactive by asking for extra things, because sometimes if you're in a full-time job, for example, and you've finished your task, there is more work to do, but they may think they don't want to overbore you, overburden you. But you should take it upon yourself to make sure that you go the extra mile. So ask for extra tasks and offer solutions. Then ask for feedback. Learn and improve based on your supervisor's input. So through asking for feedback, you can ask, how am I doing so far? Let's say it's 2 weeks into your internship or 1 month into your internship. Can you give me ways I can improve on myself? Is there anything you've noticed I need to work on? Can you evaluate my current work ethic? These are things you should be asking during your internship. Then network. Connect with colleagues and managers. So as I mentioned before, connect people on LinkedIn. Once you've added the organization to your LinkedIn profile, just connect with everyone there. Most likely they will connect back with you, and that helps you to build your network and the number of people in your network. Document your work. That is also very important. So keep track of your tasks and your accomplishments for future job applications. I would always advise people to have a sort of logbook. So basically, a logbook is basically a documentation of everything you've been able to do. So if you have a daily logbook, okay, let's say your internship starts on a Monday. So on Monday, I was able to do XYZ. I learned XYZ. This was what I learned, this was what I accomplished. And all these things are going to help you when it's time for you to create your LinkedIn profile, or to update your LinkedIn profile, as well as update your resume. So after every internship you do, it's important that you constantly update your LinkedIn and your resume, so that you can keep on applying and gaining work experience. Okay. So now, internship readiness checklist. So the first thing, have an optimized LinkedIn profile. Have a CV that's updated, which highlights your relevant skills and experiences that are related to whatever you're applying for. Research potential internship opportunities ahead of time. Practice cold pitching and networking. Set learning goals for professional development. So this is your internship readiness checklist. Now, I'm going to go on to something that is very recent but very important. How many of you know of AI? Can you list any AI tools you know in the chat room? I'll just wait for people. List any AI tools you know in the chat room. What AI tools do we know? I know the most popular one, I'm not going to mention it. I won't see if people are following me. This any AI, it's ChatGPT. Yes, that's the most popular one. Are there any other AI tools that we know of? It's actually on the screen. So I'll see who's following me. ChatGPT. Okay. There are other AI tools on the screen. Which ones do we know of? What AI tools do we know of? Claude AI ideogram. Thank you. Gemini. Yes, that's for PowerPoint. Microsoft Copilot. Thank you. Even note-taking tool, Otter AI. Those are AI tools. Aria. Thank you. Okay, we're moving very quickly. We're moving outside of the box. Beautiful. Any other AI tools we know? I use ChatGPT and Grok 3. Thank you very much. All right, so now, as I mentioned before, hiring managers to take about 6 to 10 seconds to scan a resume or a cover letter. Imagine a hiring manager that is reviewing 500 CVs for one position. They're moving at the speed of light because they don't have time. They need to move on quickly. So if your submission automatically looks AI generated, sometimes that can be an instant rejection for you. So as we've mentioned, there are many AI tools. The most popular one is ChatGPT. But there's ChatGPT, there's Ariel, there's Microsoft Copilot, there's Grok 3, I hope I pronounced that right. There's Claude AI, there's Ideogram, there's Gemini. Am I missing anyone else? These are just the ones I see in the chat room. There's also Quillbots, there's Chorus, there's Zendesk, Copy.ai, Zenfits, different AI tools. So now, the problem a lot of people do, even in this chat room, some of you are culprits of this. So let's say that you are applying for something, or you've been given a task to do. When you're sending the task back to the person that has asked you to do the task, you're sending it back with quotation marks. Automatically, I know that you've used AI for that task, for that assignment. Even when people finish their assignment, some people did that. So now there's nothing wrong with using AI. However, if it's very obvious that you're using AI for something, it makes the person at the receiving end who is looking at what you have done think that you didn't put any effort into it. So look at an example. This is an example a lot of people do. So for example, let's say you ask AI to create a shorter version of your resume. So the AI tool may respond by saying, here's a shorter version of my resume or your resume. It will now show I did this and this and this and this, I have done this and this and that and that. And then it comes with quotation marks. And then you have used the AI tool to get the work or task you want to do. You're copying everything verbatim and pasting it for the person to read. So what's wrong with doing this? First of all, it sounds very generic and robotic and makes the person who is reading it think that you didn't put any effort or heart into the assignment or task you're doing. You use AI filler phrases. So for example, individual, how many of you use individual on a daily basis? There are just some words that automatically you know that this person didn't use their heart to do it. They just copied and pasted from artificial intelligence and just sent it to you to look at. And quite frankly, for hiring managers who actually want people who are serious about work, and you don't take the time out to be dedicated to review what you're looking at, it makes you look very unserious. For example, let's say you were told to draft a document, and document is filled with quotation marks. Nobody uses quotation marks unless, let's say you're talking about a quote someone is writing. If you're using quotation marks, I can automatically tell that you use AI to finish the task and you were not dedicated or you did not take the time out to do it. So also not showing specific skills or achievements, and you just have a very generic answer, generic model. It's very obvious that you use AI. So even if AI is helping you, it's not meant to completely take over the work. You're meant to basically use AI to work for you, not you working for AI. So AI should be an assistance, not a way to completely take away from your work. So remove AI-generated phrases. If the response includes awkward phrasing like as an AI or as a something and something tool, I've been able to do this, edit it to fit your voice. A lot of people don't know that you can actually use AI to fit how you sound and how you talk because AI has memory. And when you're able to adapt to that memory, it can retone and rechange the model and the voice and the tone that you're working with. So don't be too generic because everyone can always tell when your work is generic. And sometimes people don't take it lightly and they just automatically reject you because they just think that this person is not serious enough or dedicated enough to want to actually work on improving the work at hand. Another thing is personalize your writing. AI can generate generic content, but adding your own specific examples and experiences makes it stronger. To double check for things that sound unnatural, AI text can sometimes sound too formal or too vague. So you need to be detailed and make sure that you actually know what you want it to tell or what you want it to accomplish. So AI tools, as I mentioned, automatically use quotation marks or unnecessary spacing, or it will show at the end, I have made this more clear and more formal. How else would you like me to do this? And then you will now carry yourself and go and copy the same thing. It's obvious that you've used AI to do that. So always pay attention to things like this so it's not obvious that you're using AI for your work. Use AI as a tool, but still know what you're talking about. Sometimes a lot of people just copy and paste from AI. And then if I should now ask you, what did you learn? You don't know anything because you didn't actually take the time out to learn. You just asked AI to give you an answer and you didn't take the time to reflect on what AI is asking you to do. So let AI assist you with brainstorming, but also make sure that you understand what you're expected to do and refine it to sound like you. So now the right attitude when you're applying, when you've gotten an internship. So let's say that you finally gotten an internship and you want to be able to excel at that internship. So the first thing is to show up early. When you're punctual, it shows that you're reliable and you're respectful. So don't waste people's time by showing up late. If your resumption time is 9 a.m., get there at least 10 minutes before the time at hand. Document everything. So track your tasks, your feedback, and your accomplishments. All these things are going to help you to build up your resume. Be proactive. If you can finish a task at the right time and you still have time, ask for more. Don't just sit idle and then just wait for time to while away. There's always work to do, so make sure that you take advantage of that. Ask questions. Whenever you're working with someone or at something, always make sure you ask questions so that you're clear on what you're being asked to do. Clarify your expectations and show eagerness to learn. This is what asking questions does for you. Communicate properly. Make sure that you keep your team updated and make sure you ensure that you're aligned with your tasks and show commitment. Take ownership of your projects and put in real effort. Don't do half-hazard work or half-baked work just because you don't think it's important. So whenever you are doing anything, think of, okay, what did I do to get here? I know the efforts I did to get to this position or the feedback or the applications I did. Let me make that count and let me actually put my mind into whatever I am working on. So don't be ordinary, lazy, or passive. Imagine if, let's say, at the end, there is a position for one person, right? And then there are 5 interns. So see it as a competition. How am I going to make sure I'm going to stand out to be the best person in the room so that they just know that, yes, even though the position is for one person out of 5 people, I'm going to make sure I stay dedicated to make sure that I get the role. These are things you should do. So you must make an impact that the company wants to keep you. All right, we're almost done for today. Yes, now, so before I share our assignments for today, I'm now going to leave the floor open to questions. I would first of all go to the questions I saw in the chat before, but then I would, if anybody has more questions, this is your time to leave them in the chat room. But I'll answer the questions I saw before. Let me scroll up. All right, so the first question I can see is, I can't even find that fraud internship companies. Please help to get any kind of internship. So this slide will be shared with everyone at the end of today. I had put different places that you can find internships. You can find internships on LinkedIn, you can find internships on Indeed. If you're in a school or if you're in university, ask your lecturers and professors if you have career services available at school. You can ask them to let you know if there are any opportunities you can apply for. So don't be afraid of asking people for help or for questions. And then you can also go the extra mile by searching online. LinkedIn, Indeed, and as I mentioned before, you should never be paying for any work experience. You're the one offering value, not the other way around. So never, if anyone's asking to pay for work experience or an internship, they're most likely being fraudulent. So don't apply or don't give your money because you're the one that's trying to give them value. So don't do that. All right, how easy could one create a website or blog? Doesn't it require cost? Yes, so there are free websites and there are free blog making websites like Wix.com. I'll just reply to your comment. There's Wix.com. So there's a free version and there are other websites that have free versions that you could just write on so you don't have to pay for it. The only thing that will have the the company name. So for example, let's say your website is Emmanuel Content. You could show Emmanuel Content at wixsite.com, something like that. So there are lots of free companies, free blogs and websites that you can showcase yourself and it will still be free. Even Linktree, even though it's not necessarily a website, it can be a way to showcase your work experience and things you've done, a digital portfolio essentially. The link tree is also part of it. Now okay, I see the next question. I saw it about fellowships. Let me look for the question. Okay, I think this was by Amin Abdi. What is the difference between an internship and a fellowship? So an internship is a form of getting work experience, right? And a fellowship is more on professional development or research. So fellowships are actually for a period of time, but you're actually learning through maybe a course or you're given intensive work to do, you're researching on something. But internship is that you're usually doing work experience and skills. And fellowships are usually for people who maybe are more experienced in a particular field, and internships are more for students or recent graduates or people who are still in school. So I hope that answers your question on the differences. Then, according to percentage, how much would you rate my professionalism of my profile on LinkedIn? I'll rate it about 95% because I always think that there's room for improvement. So 95% out of 100. You could change your profile picture, and as I mentioned, show more of your skills under the LinkedIn profile itself. So 95% is what I will rate your LinkedIn profile. I don't know if I'm missing out anyone's question. Okay. Um, okay, I'm seeing questions. Another question Sharif answered, or rather asked before. I'm looking for the question of. Sorry, I'm trying to go through everyone's questions. I don't want to miss anyone's questions. We're closing earlier today. Okay, what if I use premium AI and I later humanize it? So even if you're humanizing it, you need to still make sure that it is in context of whatever you're talking about. Because what some people do is that it's so obvious and blatant that you've used AI and it just doesn't look authentic or original. Yeah, exactly. I write everything about myself in ChatGPT, then prompt it to rewrite everything about me, including my achievements and skills, according to the question to be answered. So you still need to make sure that you're proofreading. Because what a lot of people end up doing is that they just do that, then they just copy and paste. They don't proofread what it has said or what it has written, or try to apply it to the context of what has been spoken about. My question is a personal one. I didn't join the first class due to smartphone. The issue is the certification policy. Can it be pardoned? We can talk about that later. I think I saw your email. I'll respond to your email. Sharif, work experience is working with organizations. Okay, before I move. Oh, okay, Sharif answered that. Me the difference between work experience and internship experiences. Work experience is working with organizations, while internship is applying voluntary jobs to you in the fourth year at university. In internship, you get job and experience. So internship is a form of work experience. I think that's a better way I would say that. When you're doing an internship, you're gaining work experience. So work experience. So for example, if you have a job, you've gained work experience at that job. If you have an internship, you're gaining work experience. So internship is a form of work experience. So to add on, that's just to add on to what Shaika said. So work experience is basically any work that you have done as a result of working with organization. But internship is a form of work experience. I hope that answers your question. There was another question that Sharif. Okay, I found the question. Someone like me, a scholar under MasterCard Foundation, required to do pre-level internship before proceeding to find third year. Scholars are required to do their own search. It's hard to secure one at this level. What advice would you give me? So the first thing you need to do is reevaluate your LinkedIn profile, or rather your resume. Your resume should basically show the key skills that you've been able to gain. I think this will also answer Gabriel's question. Your resume should show the key skills you've been able to gain, right? And it shouldn't just be about, oh, I assisted with this. You should be able to show actual skills that you've been able to learn. There's no limit to how many things to write in your work experience, but if it's putting up one page, then you should begin to think to yourself that maybe I'm writing a bit too many things. It shouldn't fill up one. There's no limit, but you should focus on the key accomplishments and the key skills and the key impact you're able to make in that team or that organization. So for someone like you, first thing to do is reevaluate your CV. Does my CV have the different skills that I needed for whatever I'm applying for? Then, as I mentioned before, code pitching. Before I forget, let me put that in the chat room for everybody. Let me put the code pitching template in the chat room. So you can use this, to send out requests to employers or hiring managers. Okay, there's a limit. Interesting. Let me cut. All right, so I put a template. I would also send it via WhatsApp and chat. But yes, so there's no limit, but you should be specific. So for you, Sharif, make sure that your CV is optimized, whatever you're applying for. I think that was something I'm going to talk about later on. Make sure your CV is optimized. Use LinkedIn to cold pitch to people. Then there are specific jobs. You can also directly reach out to people who are near you, who may actually have job opportunities available for you. So, for example, you could ask your lecturer, or you could ask a family member, do you know any internship opportunities available? And then you now actively apply for them through the different things and different advice and tips that you have been able to learn. All right, so I'm going to talk about our assignments now. Are there any questions? If you have a question, I think you can also unmute. I've been talking a lot. I want to hear someone's voice. Any more questions? Been a bit quiet. I want to hear other people's voices. Do we have any more questions, or we all understand what has been taught today?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, my question is, how many bullet point is advisable to put under the work experience?
Yeah,
Like 5, 6, or you can put as much as you can.
so you can put as much as you can, but you should also make sure that you just focus on your key accomplishments. As I mentioned, it takes about 6 to 10 seconds for an employer to go through your CV when you're applying for something. So make sure that let's say your first 4 bullet points basically just show the actual skills that you've been able and the actual things you're able to accomplish in that team. So there's no limit, but you should also just be reasonable when doing it. You should limit your resume to about 2 pages. You shouldn't exceed 2 pages. So just make sure that all your experiences and skills are the ones that would actually make you get the job. So highlight the most important, least important ones. That's how I would answer that question. Is it possible to have some samples of CVs that talk about the two? Yes. So next week we're talking about leadership, and that's going to be Paul Uda. I'm going to share a CV template with everyone. I don't know if I'm going to be training on any other class, but I will see if that is possible. I'll see if that's possible, and then we can talk about it. Matthew, I'm not sure if I'm going to be training any other classes, but we'll see. We'll see. So, can a high school graduate who has not enrolled in university apply for internships? Yes, you can. I had my very first internship when I was 14 years old. I was still in secondary school, and I worked at Mercedes-Benz in Nigeria. That was my very first internship. It was an option. It was a compulsory internship for secondary school students, but I chose the company I wanted to work in. I didn't know anyone. I just walked in and asked if I could do an internship. Then I also took a gap year. And during my gap year, I went back to the same company. And then I asked them if I could come for a gap year. I wrote a cover letter. I had my resume. And then I showed and highlighted my skills and my experiences. So yes, the high school graduates who haven't enrolled in university yet can apply for internships. However, you need to make sure that you have something that they can work with. So are there any skills that you have that they'll be able to benefit with you joining their team? So that's how I would answer that question. So it's never too late or never too early to apply for internships. even if you're still in, I don't think there are any high school students here, but even if you're still in high school, you can apply for internships. As I said, my first internship was when I was 14 years old, very young. So yes, that's how I would answer that question. All right, so the last thing for today is going to be talking about the assignment, our assignment. That's if there are no more questions. Okay, I see another question. But for every internship I try to apply to, ask whether I'm undergraduate or postgraduate. So as I mentioned, code pitching is a thing. So in that situation, code pitch to employers directly. I've sent the templates on the group chat. So instead of just applying to the ones for undergraduates or graduates, you can decide to now directly reach out to human resources managers. I explained how to do that earlier. We use Tesla as an example. We use Jumia as an example. So reach out to the human resources managers yourself, introduce yourself, what you have to offer, and then from there, they can now help you, or they can tell you, okay, we have an opening, we don't have an opening. So sometimes I like to tell people that sometimes situations may not be created for you, but you can be the one to break the barrier of the situation to get to where you want to be in. So even if there's a restriction, don't be the one that's restricting yourself. Same time I mentioned that last week also. You can be the one to break that bias or that restriction by going the extra mile. So, for example, there may be other people who are just like you, who haven't done undergraduate or postgraduate, and they're looking for internship. Instead of being like everyone who is rejecting themselves and thinking, oh, because I'm not an undergraduate student or because I haven't finished, I'm just going to stop. You can go the extra mile and reach out to them directly instead of just going to the application formats and then tell them what you have to offer. And you never know, that could end up changing things for you. So I hope that also answers your question. So go the extra mile and reach out to the human resources managers directly or the employers directly. You can find their emails, you can find their LinkedIn and reach out to them directly to answer your questions or to pitch yourself to them. Okay, so now I hope that answers your question. I mean, now the assignment. So the first thing that I mentioned last week was that we are going to have accountability groups. So a form is going to be put on the group chat and also sent via email. So through this form, you're going to basically talk about yourself by answering the questions that are there. Then we're going to collate people into different groups based on the form. And then those groups are basically going to be your, I will call course buddies or study buddies until the end of this course. So through this, you're going to remind them to come for classes, remind them to do assignments, talk to them, also get to network with them. So this is going to be a networking opportunity for everyone. So the first thing is going to be fill out the accountability group form, which will be sent by the end of today by email and WhatsApp. Then there's going to be an internship readiness checklist that you're going to have to do. So from what we talk about today, you're going to update your LinkedIn profile. So improve your summary, your skills and experiences to reflect your strengths. Then polish your resume and cover letter. You could have a cover letter template. We're also going to share with you a resume template you can work with, or if you just improve on your own, you do not have to use the one that we're going to share with you. So tailor it to fit a specific volunteer opportunity or internship opportunity you want to apply for. Then cold pitch yourself to an employer or apply for an internship. So reach out to at least one company, a nonprofit, or a professional organization about on LinkedIn. Talk about what you have to offer and why you would like to be part of their organization, similar to what we did last week. But this time, I'm going to do so with attaching your CV to it. Then if that doesn't work, you can also look for volunteering opportunities that you would like to be part of. So to submit proof of this, you need to basically share the screenshots of your LinkedIn profile, how it looked before and how it looks after you have updated it. Maybe change your profile picture, maybe create a post, maybe change your about or your summary, or be more dedicated to showcasing your skills and your education, be more specific in that, your CV before and after, then confirmation of at least one internship or volunteer application submission. The deadline for this is March 6th, and we're not giving any extension. So it's longer than last week. You have until next week, Thursday, to be able to do that, the 6th of March, 2025. There'll be no extensions on any given chances. So yes, I think at this point in time, I'd like to say thank you to everyone. But if you have any questions, I will leave the floor open. Do you have any questions? Hello?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not a question. Yeah, I think yesterday I've been asking of what times is the training going to start. But it seems today I've come late. Observing the time of the last week, I was thinking that it could be starting at the same time that it started last week.
Yeah, so it was at the
So
same time. What country are you in?
I'm in South Sudan.
Okay. What time zone is that? Sorry. Is that EST or
Um,
CST?
yeah, I'm following the East African times,
East
but
African time.
it's East African time. Yeah, I signed it today at 2 exactly, but it seemed like I've gotten the lectures was already in the middle. I
Um,
don't know. Did you start around 1:30?
no, we started at 2 exactly. I'm in Nigeria, so that's 12 p.m. Nigerian time. East African time is 2 hours after us. So we even
Uh,
waited 5 minutes for everyone to join in.
all right. Yeah.
Yes.
What time did you start in Nigeria so that I'm able to make
So
a comparison?
so in Nigeria we start
Uh,
at 12 p.m. That's 2
12 p.m.
yeah, so that's 2
Uh,
p.m.
uh,
East African time.
it's okay then. It's okay. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. All right,
Okay.
thank you very much, Gabriel. Are there any more questions or comments? Anything anyone likes to share before I let everyone go? South Sudan is always 1 hour behind according to Ugandan time. Okay, great. And also, it's in your calendar. So another thing you can do is just look at your calendar. As long as you accepted the invitation, it should pop up in your calendar because it was already shared with everyone from last week. So you can add it to your calendar so that you can always be aware and join. That's the reason why calendars exist, so that you never miss the time of meeting. So that's another thing you could think about. Okay. All right. So if we have no more questions, I'd like to thank you all for joining today. I think before we go, I think we just write in the comments what is one thing you've been able to learn today. Just type in the comment section one takeaway from today's session. Let me see how attentive we were. One takeaway from today's session. One takeaway from today's session. What have you learned today? One takeaway. Or if you'd like to unmute and talk, just raise up your hand and I'll call on you. One takeaway from today's session. What's your takeaway from today? I have learned to start early. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Emmanuel. One takeaway from today's session. What have we learned there? Internship experience are the same as work experience. Okay, thank you very much, Joseph. We have 15 people on this call. Some people have left, but let me hear. What have we learned today? My takeaway as follows: frame my LinkedIn modernized CV, willing to volunteer. Okay, thank you. How to be proactive in readiness to internship. Also learned about selling my abilities and skills to potential employers. Internship experience through platforms. Okay. Anyone else? What have we learned today? I want to say at least 10 responses. There are about 14 of you here. I'll start calling on names if I don't see responses. Gabriel, Ochieng, Basil, Kaltuma, Matthew, Mohammed, Safia, Sharif. I want to see people's responses. Skills, summaries, and experience. Okay. What have we learned today? Let's wait for 1 more minute. Yes, what did you learn today? I'm asking people to write in the chat room. What have you learned today? That's for you, Sharif. What did you learn from today's session? One key takeaway from today. We have to learn where to find internships, okay? What have we learned today? Anyone else? Fatuma, Mohammed. I have learned the mistakes in my LinkedIn. Not necessarily, so don't look at them as mistakes. Look at them as improvement, ways you can improve on. Don't just call them mistakes, just forms of improvement, right? They're not mistakes, they're just ways you can improve on yourself. Okay. All right. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. The major lesson gained was CV and application letters written in AI. All right. Thank you very much, Sherry. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Next week is going to be even more exciting. Okay, above all, I learned personally my CV sample, not necessarily to ChatGPT. Thank you. Hiring managers can scan AI. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Next week is going to be even more exciting. The assignments would also be shared on Google Classroom as it was last week, as well as the accountability form everyone is expected to fill out so that you can join your groups. All right. So have a lovely day and thank you all for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day and goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.